So this question is a radar station. So it's sort of like this, something that might be used for helping with weather forecasts and stuff like that. That are using satellites. So basically, it's very similar to the last one. We have a parabola, but this time we're going on to back again to look at how to do an ellipse. So this, if we read the question, is a semi-ellipse, which means half of an ellipse. And we look at that, and then the split here is a parabola. So this one is going to be very, very similar. We have a small circle here, which may be a little bit difficult to draw it if you don't have a circle template. We'll have a look at that in a second. So we're going to start off with this rectangle here. So it's 60 by 80. I want to have a little bit of space left on this side. Sorry, my focus is going a bit dodgy there. In order for this to fit here. So I'm going to keep my 60 by 80 over here. So I'm going to take a pink and I'm going to start to draw it out on this side. I don't think it's very, very big, but just to make sure I'm going to have enough space on this side. Sometimes they're bigger than they are here. So draw a horizontal line like so. We measure up 60 on both sides. We just measured 80. Okay, and we have our base, and we draw a line across. So what I've done basically is drawn that shaded part. We're then asked to do a semi-ellipse. So what we'll do is we'll measure into the middle of this. Well, actually, maybe I'll just use my black marker and heavy this in. I'm happy with the base. Okay. So we're asked then to do a semi-ellipse. So we're going to measure in half of 80, which is 40. And we mark our center point there. Okay. So for anyone who's forgotten, to do an ellipse is different to a parabola. So to do a parabola, we need to construct a rectangle. But to do an ellipse, just open my focus, will focus. Okay, we need to draw two semicircles. So apologies, the camera sort of has a mind of its own sometimes in terms of what it's trying to focus on. I don't know, is it a fault in the visualizer, or is it just the way that this type of visualizer is built? So what we need to do is we need to draw two semicircles, and then we need to do the pizza slices. But obviously it's semicircles this time because it's a semi-ellipse. If it was a full ellipse, it would be full circles. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll draw a line up the middle, and we'll go up 60. Okay, so it is bigger than I thought it was going to be. So the first thing we want to do is draw the minor circle. So the minor circle we'll draw, or semicircle, will be literally like so. So I'm hoping that yellow shows out. I'm not too happy with it. It could be, I'll go with an orange. It might just be a little bit difficult to see. It's sort of the yellow that was there, sort of luminous in colour. And I don't want to draw one that's not seeable on the video after. So I'll use the orange. That looks a bit more seeable. Okay, so there's my first semicircle. And what I'll do is I'll just extend this line either side, so that I know where to start and stop the next one. So that's that width. And this one here will be set to the height of the 60 that I have here. And we'll draw this. That sort of went offside the page, but I'm not too worried about it. And I'm going to use a few different colours to draw this, just to make it, again, just to help people who are not used to it, or particularly people who might have forgotten. So what we would usually do then is we'd split it into pizza slices. So if you imagine going for a pizza, you're splitting it into 12 slices. Because this is half a pizza, it's going to be split into 6. Okay, so we're going to take these various angles. We're going to twist around our 60 and 33 set square until we can get 6 lines. So by that I mean 1 slice, 2 slice, 3 slice, 4 slice, 5 slice, 6 slice. Okay, so that's what I always think about. Then what we're going to do is basically we're going to bring a line across from here and up from here. So sometimes it's going to be hard to remember which way to do this because there's two ways that it can be done. It could be either down from here and across or up from here and across. So I know from having done it numerous times. Sorry, that pen is probably too thin. I'm just trying to see, do I have a red that's thicker? Here, I think this one is the thicker one. Okay. That it's this way that it goes. If I did it the wrong side, so if I did it down here, I should cop because we're starting here. It couldn't go from here out that way. Okay, so hopefully we'll cop which way is the right. Okay, so again, this is a little bit of revision of ellipses. Okay, we have our various points there. So we'll take our marker. We have this top point, which is point B. We have this point, and this point. So it's always actually a good idea there to even write the letters on it. A, B, and C, because then you know where you're starting and where you're finishing. Okay, so I should have probably even done that before I drew any semicircles. Okay, so I have my ellipse. So just be careful, that's not a parabola. It sort of looks like a parabola there when you look at it first, but it's just an ellipse on its side, and it's a semi one, as they say. So it's critical that we read the question. So what I have then is basically this point here of a 20 mil circle. So that's straight above B. Okay, so we'll bring that up, and we will go 10 millimeters above. It's a little bit awkward there to see that center point happen to be just where I wrote B. So I'm going to struggle to draw a circle of the right size, particularly with the thickness of the markers that I have, but we'll give it a go. So the most important thing for drawing small semicircles is when you put your compass together. Now obviously your one won't look like that, yours will look more like this, right? So if I can zoom that in, the most important thing is that these two are level. If they are not level, you'll need to loosen this and pull it up or pull it down and then tighten it up again. Okay, so if I look at this one here, I wouldn't be happy with it because they're not level. I'm going to pull them down so that they're fairly close to level. Okay, so that's a handy thing to know as well if you're drawing circles in maths when you add the equipment. So again, apologies, the focus can go a little bit haywire sometimes. So we'll come back out here. I'll have my center point. I'll adjust it to that point, or you can adjust it to 10, and it's going to be difficult for me to draw this. I can see already that it's hard. So that's not going to be that easy of a circle to draw. But I'm happy enough that I have it there. And then we're showing a 45-degree line here. So this is the same as the one we were doing the previous day. I'm going to measure out that 45, and that 45 is this center line here. And we know that that comes out 30. So we're going to measure 30. And then we're coming this way, and maybe I'll use a different color. It's just sort of crisscrossing onto that. It's crisscrossing onto the board, so I'm probably gone way too far. So I only need 45 here and 45 here. I've gone a little bit too far, particularly on the bottom, but I'm not too worried. So what I have there is basically this here is 90, 45 from the center. This here is 30, and 30, and 30. So I'm quite happy with that. I'll just double check my sizes, so I'm quite happy with that. So again, this construction is the same as what we did the last time. So I'll take my teal if I can find it. That's what I used the last question. And I mark this point here, E we'll call it. That's the vertex. So they're going to come diagonally to this. So this is 30. 30 divided by 5 is quite simple. It's 6. So 6, 12, 18 and 24. And we'll do the same on this side. 6, 12, 18 and 24. And these will come down diagonally to my vertex or my turning point, or in this case it's called E. So apologies, my marker is a little bit thick, but that's just to help for the video. Okay, so we have that like so. And then the next step is we need to split this part into 5 and draw the lines parallel to the edge. So this is 45, 45 divided by 5, 9, 18, 27 and 36. So basically 9 into 5 divided by 45 is 9, and then my 9 plus 9. So 9 plus 9 is 18, plus 9 is 27, plus 9 is 36. And these points here will go down this way. So they go down parallel to the edge. In this case it's at 45 degrees. So you can draw a parabola at any angle. Typically we'd only thought about it before this was drawing it in a rectangle pointing straight up or straight across, but it can also be a rectangle tilted at an angle. So I've got my black now. I'm going to mark the various points. So there's a point, 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 there's a point. And we'll sketch in my curve. And we'll do the same here. Okay, so I'm quite happy with my parabola. I've shown that I can do both. I can do a parabola and I can do an ellipse, or in this case it's a semi-ellipse. And that's the question completed. So a nice little bit of shading there might help. If you are shading, always use a light colour. Okay, some people that asked this sent back some nicely shaded ones. Make sure it's a light colour that the examiner can see the lines through it. And one person got their own markers, then I went over. I wouldn't do that. The only reason I use markers on this is just so that you can see. If you want, you could use a fine felt tip pen and buy a fine felt tip pen. This would be basically an example of one. And it has, I don't know what this says, it's 0.4 millimeters. Right, so if I zoom in on that there. Okay, because they leave a thin line. The only problem for a video is that they're a little bit too thin. Alright, but I wouldn't go overboard on using pens. You might use them to show one or two critical details like this, or one or two of them, but that will be the amount of what I do.